With the eventual success of the Rockman video games, it was a no-brainer to allow the Blue Bomber to branch out into other kinds of media. I mean, fans of the Super Mario Bros. Games got a full movie that aired in Japan in 1986, with the plot making it one of the earliest isekai adaptations that involved video games. In this movie, Princess Peach escapes from the video game only to be kidnapped by King Koopa and sent back in. Mario's mission is to save her by going to the Mushroom Kingdom with his brother Luigi. This is a bit of a weird movie, but if you do want to check it out, I highly recommend checking out the fan restoration, and honestly, this puts official restorations to shame. Americans were able to enjoy a more child-friendly version of this with the Super Mario Bros. Super Show in 1989. Though it doesn't have the tropes of what would be the isekai genre, lacking an overall plot, and the cartoon portion is wrapped between a live-action plot starring the late Captain Lou Albano and Danny Wells with the occasional special guest. They're two completely different approaches to video game adaptations. The subject of today's video is a bit of the opposite. Rather than normal people going into the video game world, the characters in the game arrive in the real world. Japan, to be specific, because we're going to be hearing a lot about it, as these episodes were presented by the Japan Center for Intercultural Communication, as more of an edutainment series that takes place around the events of the release of Rockman 5 on the Famicom. Japanese viewers wouldn't see a release outside of it airing on TV until 2002, and the 3-episode series would make its way to the US in 2005. So there is a dub of these episodes. With that said, is Mega Man Upon a Star any good? Let's find out. But first, here's an ad. 2023 is shaping up to be an amazing year with great releases, and for those interested in playing those releases without any compromises, I can help you with that. Thanks to today's sponsor, Apex Gaming PCs. With the world of PC gaming becoming more and more appealing with amazing graphics, controller options, and hidden gems, you'll need a machine that can get you the gaming experience you deserve with 3 configurations that we've come up with to give you the most out of your budget. They even have some familiar names. What's even cooler is being able to save up to $250 with your order by using code GottaBeFrank. If you're interested in upgrading your gaming experience, you can check them out with the link provided below. Again, a huge thank you to Apex Gaming PCs for sponsoring today's video. Speaking of, let's get to that video. We start with a compilation of action scenes where the Blue Bomber is taking on the Robot Masters of Mega Man 5, with the slight error of Proto Man helping him. You gotta remember, this is the game where a fake Proto Man kidnaps Dr. Light, as the real one has gone missing since the ending of Mega Man 4. Aside from that, I have to compliment the animation because it looks really nice. I don't watch a lot of anime, but there's something about the look of 90s anime that I love. It's got a certain charm to it. The audio gets another praise from me because it's pretty freaking sweet. I'll say more about the actual voice acting near the end of the video, but stuff like the shots and the running around and other sound effects is pretty on point. I will say Mega Man's running stands out, as that's not exactly what I was expecting it to sound like, considering the fact that he's a robot. After that bit of cool stuff, we're in the room of Yuta Kobayashi, as he is playing Mega Man 5. He has stopped to do his homework, but as a true gamer, he turns on his Famicom to try to beat Starman. He does fall asleep while playing, so this gives Dr. Wily the opportunity to escape into the real world. In the morning, Mega Man and Rush follow suit, and this is where we're introduced to Yuta, his sister, and their parents, who somehow don't interrogate the random kid in a weird suit, and just kinda roll with it. Did you get it? Well, she's not here yet. Anyways, Mega Man's goal is to stop Wily from taking over Japan. This is where we get a fun fact about the train, and he's already over it, opting to ride Rush to cover more ground. We also get a fun fact about driving around in Japan, and now I'm confused. See, this aired on TV in Japan, but it sounds like it was made for viewers outside of the country. My only other evidence to back this up is the fact that the characters aren't even referred to by their Japanese names. They do revert back to their Japanese names after this episode, but that had to be the weirdest things for the viewers to hear. After seeing a news broadcast, Mega Man makes his way to the amusement park. Which one? The plot-convenient one. After knocking out some of Wily's robots, they all form together as the Massive Samurai Man and beat the crap out of Mega Man. Honestly, he deserved that for trying the Power Stone on him. He escapes to retrieve weapon energy, which is in the game world. Wily returns for round 2, and although he crumbles Samurai Man with a charge kick power ball, Wily escapes as a ninja and Mega Man passes out. Turns out Mega Man doesn't consume food and needs an E-Tank to get his energy back. Back at the house, they are very aggressive towards the request to Eddie to get those E-Tanks. Aside from that bit of aggression, I am impressed with how forward-thinking they were with the E-Tanks, making them an actual beverage. I mean, we have those as energy drinks. After recovering to full health, he takes Yuta around the country of Japan to look for the evil doctor. This is just an excuse to talk about the seasons and shows how different the terrains of the... Now hold on a minute. Wouldn't Mega Man be aware of things like lakes, mountains, cities, and the different seasons? They exist in the ending of previous games. Why is he so surprised here? I mean, I understand the whole tourism part of it, but...
This is a lake?
He knows what a lake is. He knows what the mountains are. I mean, yeah, they're still cool, but come on. But once that's over with, Yuta and Mega Man realize that Wily was going to use Mount Fuji to take over Japan. Suddenly, the volcano erupts with tons of robots, which would probably be the least of their worries, when you think about it. Mega Man attempts to fight them off, but is outnumbered. Somehow, the TV reporter is aware of Mega Man, but whatever. Back at the house, Yuta's sister Akane turns on the console to try to get help from Proto Man and Beat. Honestly, Beat is all you need. Have you seen what kind of powerhouse he is? In Wily's fortress, our duo wipe the floor with the Robot Masters, and in comes Beat to solo 3 of them. Again, powerhouse. The evil doctor attempts to make an escape by rocket, but Proto Man and Beat tilt the rocket to turn it around to go back into the TV. An unplugged TV, unless Mega Man is taking care of that. Our heroes return to the game world, and Mega Man drones on about learning about Japan before going home. Honestly, it did feel like that was going on longer than it should have. So with episode 1 down, I think I can say while it's nice that the writers wanted to teach about Japan, I think the amount of info compared to the actual plot was a bit much. Also, what is this music?
When I'm feeling down and nowhere to go, just can't find my way to the door, then you came along.
Again, the show did look nice, there were some charming moments in the episode, and some things I did notice as I was watching. It's no secret Yuta is playing a revision of the Famicom since he's using the revision's Dogbone controller. It was also cool to see the E-Tank as I imagined it would be. An energy drink. Also, is the life energy an egg? Either way, Mega Man's struggling to eat it. It's an episode that could really go for half the runtime if the fun facts weren't padding things out. I can only speak on the voice acting of the English version, and it's serviceable. Even with its stop-and-go pacing, the quality of the episode, production-wise, is pretty solid. Let's wait until the last episode and I'll give you my full thoughts, but let's get on to episode 2. The start of the second episode is similar to the first. We get a good-looking montage of Mega Man being Mega Man with a new theme. Actually, this becomes the theme for the series going forward, as episode 3 has the exact same one. Anyways, we go back to the room of Yuta with Akane rushing him to go be with the rest of the family. As Mega Man fights Wily's final robot, he develops Stormtrooper aim. Turns out Akane's trying to pry the controller out of his hands. This causes the blue bomber to be sent out of the TV again. He even questions him about it.
I was in trouble in there because you lost control of the game. How come?
At this point, Japan is celebrating the new year and Mega Man decides to join them for a bit. Meanwhile, Wily somehow ends up in Dr. Light's lab and he and Roll are working on a new machine. He makes his way out of the TV and makes a run for it. Dr. Light informs him that the machine was a time machine and that Roll is with him as a hostage. In space, the evil doctor explains that he plans on using meteorites to destroy the world, but is currently gathering them up and sending them to the future. By the way, did you know a meteorite wiped out the... Never mind. Back on Earth, they get breaking news that a robot is walking through the city. Mega Man goes after it and is stopped when Wily reveals his hostage. He continues to charge at the robot only for it to disappear and Wily to make his escape. Thanks to Rush, Mega Man is able to communicate with Dr. Light and is given a pair of goggles that detect time warps to allow him to follow Dr. Wily through the time tunnel thing. I'm just gonna call it a time tunnel. New fun fact about Japan, Girls' Day. Okay, I need to acknowledge how weird this dialogue is.
Today is March 3rd. It's Girls' Day. It's a celebration for us girls.
They're explaining it as if one of the girls has never celebrated it before, but they all look like they're ready to properly celebrate it. Dr. Wily makes his appearance, but is chased out by Yuta with a bat. While moving from one time to another, Mega Man catches up to him. His brief interruption loosens the handcuffs on Roll, and she attempts to mess with the doctor as well. She and Mega Man are dumped off to a point in the future, and instead of falling to their doom, they fall into some carp streamers that are hung up for Children's Day. They inform Dr. Light that Wily intends on attacking on July 7th. That date has significance as it is the date that Tanabata takes place. And this is where I have to give the writers props for this one. Earlier in the episode, Wily mentioned sending the meteorites to a time where people are looking up on a lovely day. Tanabata is the day that two lovers become stars, cross the Milky Way, and reunite. It's a very subtle reference to the date that Wily plans to strike, but after getting our Japan for Dummies explanation, I thought it was some clever foreshadowing. At this point, they have about 2 months to prepare, so that's what they plan on doing, working on a solution to stop Wily. The evil doctor and his robots are planning to do the same, but rather than stopping an evil doctor, they are planning to destroy Japan to defeat Mega Man. On July 7th, Akane makes her wish for Mega Man to stop Wily, and so are the neighborhood kids. So the whole thing with Tanabata is that they make a wish upon a star. That's the whole significance of this. Rush is turned into this goofy-looking space shuttle, and our heroes go to space. Dr. Wily sends out meteorites he's collected from the past, but this time they're roboticized. Mega Man utilizes the Super Mega Buster, Proto Man redirects a meteorite, and Beat shows how indestructible he is. They split up so Mega Man can take on Dr. Wily's giant robot, only for the Blue Bomber to be captured. His plan is to aim for the massive robot's weakness, which was not where I was expecting it to be. He was disarming the robot. Never mind, that's where I assumed it was. After breaking in, Mega Man captures Dr. Wily. Wait a minute. There's a hole in that thing, so how is Wily breathing? They re-enter the atmosphere, and after a what I learned this time moment, the episode comes to an end. This one's a bit better. The fun facts are scattered throughout the episode, but the actual story of this episode is given more attention. This is another one where Proto Man redirects a machine, which was hilarious to me. And production-wise, it's just as solid as the previous one. Something I did want to mention is this Japanese logo at the very start. It's like that in the US release as well. Only episode 1 got a full translation, and even the Japanese version of that release was in English. But enough about that, let's get to the final episode. We begin with another episode opening, and some of the scenes look so good. I want a show like this. Anyways, Mega Man runs into Roll with a different outfit because she wants to fight alongside him, though he's kind of being that person about it. Levels are too difficult, you might not make it out. After they chat a little bit with Proto Man, 2 of the 3 protagonists are summoned from the TV by Yuta and Akane, so they can be brought out by them. They're invited to celebrate the Bond Festival. While they're spending time in the real world, Wily discovers the portal is open again. He tries to escape, but Proto Man is there to keep him from going anywhere. The evil doctor summons the Skulker, with some modifications, to make his escape. As the others are enjoying a fireworks display, Wily sends a threat to the people of Japan. They regroup at Yuta's room, and he takes off with Mega Man on Rush to search for him. The amount of time they spent looking for Wily is laughably short, because they only really searched Tokyo. Earlier, Proto Man mentioned Wily's using an upgraded Skulker, so he's most likely long gone. The next day, they continue their search with no luck. Dr. Light has repaired the time machine from the previous episode, and Mega Man uses it to take a peek into the future. Turns out Wily was successful and demolished Japan, and this weird city is actually a bunch of robots in disguise. Unable to take them on, Mega Man retreats to the past. And honestly, these robots look goofy as hell. They just put giant eyes on these things and said that's a robot. While relaxing with Yuta's family, a typhoon approaches Japan. He is told that a typhoon around this time of the year is normal, but Mega Man is still suspicious and goes 1 month into the future. This leads them to an athletic competition where Akane takes first place. Cool. But there's a growing typhoon heading in their direction. Turns out Wily has been behind these typhoons the entire time, with a new robot. Who would have seen that coming? Mega Man takes the fan that Yuta was holding, takes it to Dr. Light as he enhances it so that way he can stop the typhoon before it makes landfall. Roll attempts to assist Mega Man but is sent crashing into the sand. This puts the time machine out of commission. Same for Roll. Now Mega Man sets out to take on Dr. Wily with some help from Proto Man, Beat, and Rush. The Doctor is sending out another typhoon with the reporter claiming it to be the largest in history. Apparently it was strong enough to cause a tsunami and lift parts of the land, including the new base for Dr. Wily. Oh wait, that's the city from the future. Mega Man and Beat were setting to that floating city, which they claim to be nearly complete. They run in with some cool looking shots, and he's just making easy work of the Robot Masters. He's now in a fight with the Typhoon robot, which looks like Airman. That's Airman. You can't convince me otherwise. That's freaking Airman. Completely overpowered, Wily's able to push him to the edge. Proto Man jumps in and combines the modified fan and the Mega Buster to destroy the Typhoon robot. Instead of sending Dr. Wily back to the game world, Mega Man makes him fix the damage he's caused and to make up for what he's done. They even become the Santa duo on Christmas to end the episode. It's kinda cute, I found it to be funny. This is an interesting episode because it felt like the references and information about Japan is done early on to get it out of the way. Aside from that, it's another episode that uses time travel, which is kind of bizarre, but it did serve a purpose rather than the characters jumping from one point to another. Mega Man used it to see what would happen in the future, but he also used it to go back to stop the typhoon from making landfall. Roll getting herself involved was a shame only because of how it turned out. Would have been nice to see exactly what kind of possible attack she would have, but apparently vehicular manslaughter is the only possibility. but I'm just thinking out loud. It's another serviceable episode to wrap up the Mega Man Upon a Star episodes. And those episodes were pretty boring. I mean, they had their moments where either the action looked cool or the writing was good, but that was a small part of this little series. The pacing of the episode suffered because of all the trivia. Some of it was integrated in the episode fine enough, but the rest was incredibly forced and slows down the pace to a crawl. I'll stop there, as I do understand the point is to have something entertaining while teaching viewers about Japanese culture, so I can't be too harsh on it. The subject matter is not something I'm all too familiar with, so I can't really weigh in on how well some of this information has aged, so if there's anybody who is a bit more knowledgeable on Japanese culture in the comments, feel free, let me know. The quality of the acting is odd. The delivery at time is fine enough, but there were some lines that were really weird. Aside from that, it's about what you would expect from a 90s anime. The action was fun to watch, and seeing the game world was really cool. I just wish there was a show based on this game world. Use the same characters, utilize robot masters from all the games, make it span the 6 games in terms of story, and I would be interested. As for Mega Man Upon a Star, it's alright. It's impossible to find a copy of the DVD these days, but there are easy ways to find the 3-episode series. But I won't go any further with that. If the only way to access the show was through DVD, depending on the hypothetical price, it would have been really difficult to recommend. Considering how easy it is to find the series now, if you're that curious, go for it. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of this. But it is what it is. The next time we meet, we're covering the 5 Game Boy games starring the Blue Bomber himself. I've already played them, and I have quite a lot to say about them, so hopefully you're looking forward to that. We're only going to keep it to Rockman World 1 through 5. Any other titles will be addressed at another time. And I think that'll just about do it. Hey everyone, thanks for watching today's video. If you've seen the show, let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below, and if not, then I just spoiled the entire show for you. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give it a like and also share it around to the people who might enjoy a video on the Mega Man OVA. Even if you haven't seen it, comments are nice as well, just throwing that out there. At this time, I want to thank all of the channel members and patrons at the Chaos tier. Their names are scrolling on screen right now, and I also want to thank the Super tier members like Martin YT Plays and Jimmy Duke STR. Thank you all for your extra support, it is greatly appreciated, you are all awesome. If you want to support what I do with a monthly contribution, you can find out with the join button below this video or with the Patreon link at patreon.com/GottaBeFrank. Lowest tier is $1, so no pressure. You can also follow me on social media, and all of those links are going to be in the description below, especially with how things have been lately with social media, so I'm not even going to bother listing them all out. With that said, I hope you all have a wonderful and safe day, and I'll see you in the next one, but until then, take care.